All right, our Zoom lesson is building on what we did on Tuesday. So we are still looking at writing equations. And remember that when we do write equations, that they are in the form of y equals k times x, and that k is our constant of proportionality, which is just another name for a unit rate. So we're doing the unit rate times our x value, and that's going to give us our y value. So we talked on Tuesday about looking at the thing, and if it says this table shows the relationship, it doesn't say it's proportional, it just says the relationship between the length in feet of a hallway that Brenda covers with tiles, x, that's this, and the number of tiles she needs, which is y. And we're trying to figure out if the unit rate is the same for each of these. So if you don't know 2 4/10 times what equals 21, you can figure that out by dividing that 21 by 2 4/10. So we're doing 21 divided by 2 4/10. So that's 2 4/10 times 8.75 is going to give us our 21. And then we'll have to do 42 divided by 4.8. And that also is times 8.75 then. And 56 divided by 6 4/10 is times 8.75. And then 77 divided by 8 8/10 is also times 8.75. So when I multiply my x value times 8.75, I get my y value. And it is the same throughout that whole table. So then it says, according to the values in the table, do x and y have a proportional relationship? And that's a yes, because the constant of proportionality, or the unit rate, is the same through that whole table. And then when I'm writing the equation between x and y is equal to our constant, which is 8 7/75, times our x value, whatever that x value was. So the equation is y is equal to 8 7/75 times x, because anything that's in my x row, if I multiply it by 8 7/75, I then get whatever's in my y value. Number 2, the table shows a relationship between the amount of time in hours that Daryl rents the jet ski in X, that's the hours, and the cost in dollars of the rental. So we want to know, according to the values in the table, do X and Y have a proportional relationship? So if you don't know 2 times what equals 128, you just do 128 divided by 2. And that means that this is times 64, because 2 times 64 is going to give us that 128. I'm going to do 168 divided by 3, and that's times 56. And if I don't have the same constant, I don't need to keep going, because those two are different. The answer is no, they don't have a proportional relationship, because to have a proportional relationship, I would have to be multiplying by the same constant all the way through the table. All right, then we've got this table shows the relationship between the number of school days that Carter's been driving his new bus and the total number of miles that the bus has been driven. And we want to know, according to the table, do X and Y have a proportional relationship? So I don't know what I multiply 4 by to get 67 4/10. So I'm going to take 67 4/10, divide it by 4. which means I'm going to be multiplying 4 times 16 and 85 hundredths to get that 67.4. 77 divided by 5 is, so that would be times 15 and 4 tenths. And again, once I don't have the same unit rate, then that means I don't have a constant of proportionality. I don't have the same unit rate, so they don't have a proportional relationship. Number 4, this table shows the relationship in the amount of time in hours that Victoria spends recording, X, and the amount of money in dollars that the studio charges her, Y. So if you don't know 2 times what to give you 144, you just do 144 divided by 2. So this is times 72. I take 648. I divide that by 9. That's times 72. 720 divided by 10 is 72. And 864 divided by 12 is also. So I have to multiply by 72 for each of these to get my Y. So according to the values, do they have a proportional relationship? Yes, they do, because they have the same unit rate or the same constant of proportionality. And then when I write my equation, I have to get my Y value, so to get whatever's in this column, I take 72 and I multiply it times whatever's in my X column. So 72 times 2 will give me the 144. 72 times 9, that X value will give me the Y of 648. So my equation is Y equals 72 times X.